There's nothing like a good soda and my caffeine addiction to keep me going for another day. Welcome to this week's Tech Talk, where we're going to tackle a question on cloud versus on-site servers. This is a pretty common conversation that I'm having with customers is, now that we got the cloud, now that the cloud is here, the cloud is the future. I don't need servers anymore, right? We can get rid of all of that and I'm going to save a ton of money. Well, I guess we're about to find out. Cue the intro. Full disclosure, we are a huge advocate for cloud and cloud computing, cloud storage, cloud backups, many things cloud. However, one thing a lot of times that we're having conversations around is this popular notion that cloud is always better, when in reality, it's really not always better. What can tend to happen is we get this ideal in our head and we follow mainstream, or we follow this one specific use case and all of a sudden it applies to everybody. Well, for many of our customers, this kind of never be the case. How they're structured as a company. We take one specific industry like manufacturing, cloud will almost never completely remove the need for servers and on-site storage. The simple fact is, new servers do cost thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars, depending on what your requirements are for your company and your organization. So cloud can have a place and it can have a benefit to save that kind of money. So how do we know when the cloud is the right thing for you? Well, I guess it depends on your scenario. What kind of CRM programs are you running? What kind of databases do you have on site? Where is your email hosted at? Where do you store all your files? What kind of files are they? This all plays into whether we can offload those items from on-site servers into the cloud. You need to take stock into where and what kind of programs you're running. Are there cloud-native applications that you can move your on-site systems to? For example, QuickBooks has a heavy on-site presence with QuickBooks Pro, QuickBooks Enterprise, but now QuickBooks and Intuit is really pushing their QuickBooks online. And so you can migrate your systems into the cloud from QuickBooks Pro or QuickBooks Enterprise into the QuickBooks online program. However, does that mean you get all the same features? No. So this is another use case where you would have to do your specific research into, can I move this to the cloud? The same could be said for storage. Where are your files located? Do you have databases that you need to have running? Do they need to be running locally? And if I move them to the cloud, will there be performance issues? Will there be stability issues? How good is my internet? Because when you go to the cloud, that's another factor. Internet becomes vitally more important. And so when we look at different industries such as manufacturing, they need to be able to operate 100% of the time. The odds of their internet going out, depending where you're located, depending who your provider is, if that is high, you cannot afford to remove your on-site systems. You need to take control of that and to be able to operate with maximum efficiency and reliability. In the same essence, even if your internet is good, you also need to consider the costs involved. Many people associate cloud with being less expensive, where the reality is that cloud in some use cases is much less expensive and in other use cases, a lot more expensive. For example, hosting email in Microsoft 365 Cloud is exponentially high on your return of investment when you compare to hosting your own SQL databases in Microsoft's Azure system. So you really need to be able to understand where you need to leverage cloud versus on-site. If you want to move your SQL databases into the cloud, are you okay with incurring the additional cost for infrastructure? It all comes down to your return of investment and how are you calculating that out. The biggest key about moving into the cloud is planning. You need to be able to take your time, don't rush, plan this out. You need to be able to work with your trusted IT advisor, whether that's internally, whether that's outsourcing, into figuring out how best it makes sense to migrate your systems into the cloud. Not everything can come down to cost. You need to have a return on investment that includes factors such as efficiency, such as productivity, reliability, scalability. And if you're not getting that return in the cloud, then you're not quite ready to ditch your entirety of your on-site servers. We've had massive success stories with moving to the cloud. And unfortunately, we kind of had massive failures on attempting to move to the cloud, only to move everything back locally. And again, it really depends on your scenario. You don't want to make the mistake of having to reverse course. That takes up infinitely more time and energy and money, unfortunately. If you don't have the IT resource internally, or you're looking to have your internal IT resource have a co-managed solution where they can work with a whole team of experts, you need to reach out to someone like us, and you can do that by going to mainstreetitsolutions.com or 717-354-8385. Don't forget to like or subscribe.